have to share whatever I have because I don't know if I have Shabbat. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm going to see Shabbat. You know, I got to stop being arrogant to think that, you know, everything's going to run on my program. I might not, I might not see the Shabbat.
That's right.
So why not share what I understand today? You know, that's what this is about. Praise be to our Elohim.
You're welcome.
Hallelujah. And I thank you for that, Akoti, because you made that clear one time. You said if he's willing. Yeah, I'm see if he's willing. Let's go. All right. So last time we left off, we talked about what Yaakov was seeking. You know, again, he was trying to lead his family to a place of rest. He was looking in the eyes, he was looking to win the favor of his brother. And we know that favor means, you know, a camp, beauty, compassion, kindness, in order to come to some type of rest. And that's what we found in verse number 5. I hope everyone can see my screen. And so as a result of this, you know, this was the message that he sent to his brother. Like, he wanted to win his favor. He told him about all the blessing that he had. He told him about his experience that he had in with his uncle, and that he's on his way back. And, you know, he mentioned that he was a stranger. That's for a reason, you know, to let him know I'm coming home to my family, right? Just like the Creator had asked him to do. And then we see here something interesting that he said the messengers came back, which again, in the Hebrew, messenger is a malachim. So we saw in verse number 1 that he saw the malachim of Yahweh. And then here it is, he sends malachim to his brother, right? So malachim is just a messenger, going right back to what we've been talking about. So every time Yah sends his malachim, he's sending his messengers. So Yaakov sends his messengers. And he went to his brother, and he said, your brother's coming to meet you, and with him are 400 men. And by him saying this, verse number 7, Yaakov became greatly afraid. He was distressed. A lot of pressure. He felt very pressured. And like I talked about, when our minds go to this place of fear and we're afraid and we're under a lot of pressure, the first thing he did was he divided the people. He divided the flocks, the camels, and with him, you know, into 2 camps. So he divides everything he has into 2. And I think that that split that he has right there is indicative of what actually happened to his family, you know, in the time to come. When Yisrael goes through these times of distress, they usually break up into 2 different groups, which is the tribe of Judah and then the northern tribes, right? So we see a split right there. And we're seeing this within our father, his brain, his mind, his thoughts are, I'm afraid. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide. I'm going to separate the people. I'm going to be prepared here. And then he says, if Esau comes and he, you know, he had one camp he attacks, then at least the other camp is left will escape. You guys tell me which camp that he was going to put forward. What group of people was he going to put first? He had 2 camps. Who's going to be in the front line?
Probably the concubines with their children.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Well, when he meets his brother, that's true. He did meet him with his the concubines in front with their kids. So if he was going to slaughter anybody, they would go get them first. The one that he loved was the one in back. But also, too, there's an idea that I want you to see that, which we're going to get to in a second, about how Yaakov is telling these people, like, when, you know, when I'm going to send you to my brother, and when I send you to him, I want you guys to be in a certain format, okay? But let's talk about, before we go there, before I get a little ahead of myself, let's just discuss how he did this. And so when this happened in verse number 8, the first thing he did when he became afraid is he prayed. He prayed. And what he prayed was, he says, you know, the Elohim, Elohe, he directly calls to the Creator, Elohe of my father, Avraham, the Elohe of my father Yitzchak. And he calls him by his name. He says, Yahweh, who told me, return to your country and your kinsmen, and I will do you good. So he's reminding the Creator, he's speaking to the Creator about, you know, what he told him. And so here again, he's identifying Yahweh. You know, a lot of times people tell us that you and I can't call on the name of Yah, and it's a, you know, you have to be a priest, or you don't want to profane his name if you call upon his name. I'm here to tell you that you have a right to call upon his name. You have an absolute right to call upon his name. It's the name that he says, I will be recognized by from generation to generation. This is the name. So Yaakov calls him by this name. He automatically puts a prayer into the creator. And verse number 10, this is what he told him. He said, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of all the love and the faithfulness that you have shown your servant since I crossed the Jordan with only my staff, but now I've become two camps. There's something in here that I wanted to share with you in verse number 10 that is pretty significant, okay? It's interesting, verse number 10. Yeah, 10. 10 is interesting. I say it's significant, and the word happens to be the word insignificant, okay? And this is something that has been heavy upon my mind today, is about what he said to the creator in verse, and we're reading from right to left, okay? When Yaakov was born, okay, they called his brother the older one. They called the brother the older one, and here being the older one, they called it Gadol, okay? And the younger one is called a Quatan, okay? So one is older and one is Quatan, okay? Quatan, and Quatan here is not only I'm not worthy, okay? He didn't say that. He didn't say that he wasn't worthy. That's wrong, okay? What he was saying is that he was insignificant, that he was small. Everything about him. And I think, you know, when we look at these words, we run right past them. We look right past it. If he wasn't worthy, then the creator of the heavens and earth would not have revealed himself to him. That's an English word, okay, meaning that you're not worthy, meaning you don't have any worth. And that's not true. What he was saying is that he was insignificant. I was sharing with my Isha tonight, my wife, I was letting her know that after 52 years of being on this earth, I finally realized how insignificant I am. When Yah calls us the stars of the heavens, he said, I'm going to number you like the stars in the heavens. How many stars are there?
No one knows.
Too many.
You can't be counted. There are trillions and trillions. They can't be counted. It's probably more than trillions. They cannot be counted. How many grains of sand are there on the earth?
Can't be counted.
Can't be counted. Okay. So also too, when he and he's going to tell us in a second about the sand. I'm going to wait till I get there to share that. My point is that our father said something that applies to his descendants. Something about the mindset that he had. This was in his mind. Okay. He told the creator in truth that I am insignificant. Okay. Quatanity means I am significant. Perfectly, I'm insignificant. In the grand scheme of things, you and I are like a grain of sand, okay, on the shore. How significant is that?
It's not.
It's nothing. It's nothing. If you take one star that fell out of the heavens, how significant is it in comparison to the whole group? It's insignificant. It's insignificant. So with this being said by our father, I believe it's written on purpose. He could have said that I'm evil or I'm bad or I'm a sinner and all that. He didn't say that. He said he was insignificant. And that's something that I think we need to focus on in our minds. Like I'll speak for myself. Okay. After all my accomplishments in my life and all the things that I've obtained, now that I look back on it, I'm insignificant. And when you realize that and you accept that in the grand scheme of things, you know that the place that you have is only for a little while. He understood this. In the grand scheme of things, you and I are nothing but a speck in Yah's universe. Our time here on the earth is just a small space of time. It's insignificant, people. It really, truly is. And even though it's insignificant, it should be valued from the point or from the understanding that we should honor that insignificance. We should understand it. It should actually cause us to be humble. It really should be, right? So I wanted to just share that. That thought just popped in my head like not even 5 to 10 minutes ago. that he says that I'm quatonity, I am insignificant. And from all of the comparison to all the kindness, okay, all the ha Chassidim, the Yahweh, and from all of the faithfulness, the ha'emet, the truthfulness of Yah. Okay, so our Father's developing this relationship with the Creator in which we're finding out about, that tells us about what it's going to be for us. The reason why he's telling us this is because he truly cares for our fathers and he cares about their children. Now, if our Father said this, that he's insignificant from all the kindnesses and of all the faithfulness, this is something that you and I would take as something to include in your prayer, because this is what he said in his prayer. I'm going to start saying this, that I'm insignificant. I need to humble myself before the Most High. He says, all the faithfulness in which you have asita, you have shown to me perfectly. You see, Yah has done great things for this man. You see, he's introduced himself to him. He revealed himself in a dream to him. He let him see in a vision in his dream about, Yah standing there and telling him what he's going to do for him. And I'm the Elohim of your fathers. As insignificant as he is, he understands that Yahweh's kindness and his faithfulness is beyond comprehension. Okay. And that Yah has shown that to him perfectly. It wasn't he was going to, he did. And he said, you've shown an F to your Avatika, which is your servant. This is what I am to you. I'm your servant. We're going to talk more about that on Yom Shabbat, if Yah was willing, right? Because he says, the only thing that I had when I crossed over was nothing but a staff in my hand. That's all I had. When I pray, yes, praise Yah, absolutely. And we're going to talk about that dust right quick too, because that's very significant about what you said, Akoti. So he said, I crossed this Jordan. So now, from our understanding of the Torah, we know that our people were on one side of the land, and then they had to cross the Jordan as well in order to go into the land that they're going. And so here it is. Now he's about to cross the Jordan. Okay, our Father is. And so you can see this parallel between his life and the life of his descendants. So you can see a lot of similarities, which we're going to be seeing through our study. Okay, and he says, I have become two camps. And we already went over what a camp is. I've become two camps. And he asked Yah something. He asked him to, the Hatzileni, I want you to deliver me and rescue me from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I'm afraid of him. He was honest in his prayer. He said that he was afraid of Otho. He wasn't, he just told him what it was. He says, because he'll come and he'll attack me, and he'll attack me, and he'll attack the mother and the children. So this is what's going through his mind, and especially because his brother didn't give him any response. And listen what he says. He says, Wayataya Marta, you have said, Hativ, meaning surely, with infinitive absolute, meaning I'm putting great emphasis on what you said. Hatev, Ativ, you told me out of your mouth that you were going to treat me well, and you were going to do good and you were going to be with me. So what he's looking for is he's trying to find compassion and mercy in Yah's eyes. Okay. And you will make me and my seed like the sand. Okay. I was talking a little bit about the sand here. Now it said the sand of the sea. So, me and my Western mind, I was thinking it was the sand that was on the beach, on the beaches of the world. Yah's not talking about that sand. He's talking about the sand that's in the sea. It's in the sea. It's not just out of it. You and I are only seeing a little portion, an insignificant amount. That which is underneath the ground is sand in the waters, in the seas. Have you ever thought about that?
No.
I haven't. When I say that you're going to outnumber, I'm not talking about the sand that you see. I'm talking about the sand that's inside of the sea. So it tells us that you and I really don't know. We don't have a clue when he says the sand of the sea, not the sand of the earth, the sand of the sea, the Hayam. Listen, which lo, now listen, I told you before that this lo right here means an absolute no, meaning never, ever, ever. Okay, just keeps going. It will never. Okay, it's not for a specific time or until a certain time. It says never. These things will never be counted. These are things that he has not revealed to anybody. So you can see that there's secrets the guy has never revealed. He said the sand of the sea will be your Zarakah. That's what our father said to him, that you're going to treat me well and you were going to make my F descendants like the Kakol of the Hayam, in which will never be counted for a multitude. You see? So what you and I see is insignificant. Our understanding is insignificant. There is a bigger picture. And this should cause us to be humbled, because the sand will never be counted, ever. And no man has ever attempted to count it, because our existence is based upon the sand of the sea, the stars of the sky, and the dust of the earth. And so due to this, he lodged and he took what he had of his hand and he presented a present to his brother. It was over 500 animals. And what I'm saying, and what he handed him was a great amount of wealth, and there was a reason for this. Okay. The reason for him doing this is because his brother didn't respond. Remember, he said, I told my servants that I have all these things, but they came back and said he didn't say nothing. He's coming with 400 men. So our father, Yaakov, is being proactive here. So he's giving to his brother to what? To appease him, right? So the amount of stuff that he gave him was over 500 animals. And I don't know, we don't know this, but rams are very expensive. Camels are very expensive. Donkeys are super expensive because they represent an animal, domesticated animal that's built for service. These animals and these rams and these goats and all these different things, they provided food, they provided milk, they provided sustenance. And it was a great amount of wealth that he gave to his brother, and he gave it to him, and donkeys is for a reason, as he said, as a gift. But one of the things that he said to his brother is he said he delivered to the hand of his servants, and he said every herd by itself. So he separated them so he can see the significance. He didn't have them all, bunched up as one. So he put the rams by themselves. He put the sheep by themselves. He put the goats by themselves, the male and females. So he can see this procession of wealth. Okay. So he's giving him this and putting it in his eyes, because why? Because he says, you know what? I want to appease my brother. And he told him, he said, when you go over, I'm going to move over to English right quick so we can move a little faster. Then he says, when he did this, he said he put space between them, and he's doing this as a contingency plan. Okay. And what he's trying to do is he's trying to buy more time. That's what he's doing. Because listen when he says, he instructed his servant, meaning in the PL form, commanded him, not instructed, commanded him. When Esau, my brother, meets you in verse number 17, and he asks you, whose servant are you and where are you going? And whose animals are these? The response is, then you are to say emphatically, they belong to your servant Yaakov. They are a present he has sent to my Lord, to my master Esau, right? And Yaakov himself is just behind us, okay? So what it was is that the people that were leading these flocks, they put the flocks in front, and then they're the ones who are in behind. That they're leading from behind. They're not leading from the front, they're leading from behind. So Esau would see all these animals, and then after he sees it, he asks him, who are you and what are all these? And he says, oh, I'm your servant. These belong to your servant. So now what we see is that our father, Yaakov, has now again for a second time is saying that he wants to be a servant. He's becoming a slave, because a slave and a servant is synonymous. Okay. He's saying he's an avad. I'm your slave. He's indenturing himself to his brother now. I'm your slave. And now this is your present. And a present in Hebrew is called a mincha. Okay. And it has the mem, the noon, the ket, and the hay in it. Okay. Which we can see this word right here. Knock. Okay. Which you would get your word noach, which means rest. But he's bringing a mincha. He's bringing a gift. Okay. On behalf of saying, here, here's a present for you. Here's a mincha. Okay. So we see these mincha as well as what the children of Israel bring to Yahweh as a gift. Okay. And a gift to show that I am your slave. That's what I am. After all the work that I've done, I want, because I'm your servant, I want to give to you what I have. And what he's given him is he's given him a great amount of his own wealth. And he said he sent it to my Lord, which is his servant, and Yaakov himself is just behind us. So now you can see that the servants are leading the flock. You see the Yaakov is right behind us. So we're leading the flock from behind, and so is Yaakov is leading from behind. He's leading us up to you, to our Lord, to our master, our Adonai. That's the term that they use there. Okay. And he said this to the second one again, and the third one. So that's the conversation that they're having about this mincha. Okay. Make a long story short, he divides his family up. He's afraid. So he takes his 2 wives, his slave girls, and 11 children, which is not, this is not really accurate because there's another child that's not even mentioned right here, and her name is Dinah. She was a daughter that they had. It wasn't just 11 children. Okay, it was a daughter too. Why am I not writing properly? It was a daughter, and her name was Dinah. Somebody tell me what Dinah means. Dinah. Got the dalet, got the noon, the door continues, right? And that Don is a judge. Dinah is judgment. That's what she is too. That's what her name means. She's a feminine of judgment, okay? She's Dinah, the same root, which is the door of life, okay? And so they went over and they crossed over this place called Yabok, and Yabok means to be empty, okay? The reason why he's crossing over this is because he feels empty. He's at his end. When he gets there, he sends them across the stream, and he sent possessions across, okay? So he sent everything away from himself. The only thing that was left was himself. He was left alone. I'm going to say to you that he was levado. He was by himself. And then when he became alone, after he sent everything away from him, sent his wife, his children, his possessions, his cattle, everything is, there's no one around him. Okay. Then some man wrestled, and this right here, wrestled means became in the dust, wrestled with him until daybreak, which is called Shakar. Okay, it's at the dawn. It's right before the sun rises. Okay, so right at the dawn, when the sun is about to come up, okay, right before then, he's wrestling. He's wrestling with this man. Okay, and when he saw that he did not defeat, and not only that he did not defeat, he was not able. Okay, it says lo. There's another lo there. That lo you call, he was not able to prevail Yaakov. He struck Yaakov's hip socket so that his hip was dislocated while he was wrestling with him. So it wasn't like he was just, they got into it, and at the end, the fight ended when he hit him and dislocated his hip or pulled his hip out of its socket. Okay, they were wrestling while his hip was out of socket. Okay, that's how this was going down, and it was going down from all night. So it was for several hours that this was going on, okay? And the English doesn't do justice, okay? It doesn't help us, not helpful to us, because it says, let me go. just like they said in the book of Exodus, that, what did they say? Somebody tell me what they say in Exodus to what? Let my people
Let
go.
my people go. Yeah.
Guess what? This is wrong. It ain't let my people go. It ain't let me go either. He didn't say let me go. This is significant. Okay. He says because daybreak, because it's daybreak. We've been fighting and all night. But Yaakov replied, I won't let you go unless you bless me. Okay. And this, again, let go is not true. So let's go look at it within the Hebrew. So what's the name of our Torah portion? If you can remember. The name of our Torah portion is Yishlach.
And he
And
sent.
we're Yishlach, and he sent. Okay. So what we see is that our father, he sent Malachim to his brother, didn't get no response. He sent animals and a gift to him. He didn't get no response. Okay. So now what he does, he divides his family. Now he's wrestling, he's fighting. Right. And let's look at it, what he says. And he commanded soon in a second. Okay. Third, 27. What verse is that I just had? 27. Okay. He sent the present and he arose in the night and he took his family. Okay. And he took his sons and he crossed over and he took them and he sent them over. Okay. And then he was left Yaakov alone, Levato, and with him, and he's breaking to the dawn. And Wayard, that he did not prevail. He hit him in his socket and he kept fighting him and wrestling him. And he said, yeah, here we go. 26. And the he here is talking about this man. He says, Shalakani. And he gave it as a command, and it's in a very forceful way. Okay, it's forceful. Shalakani. The word, these three words right here is what, Dr. Yared? S-H.
Slow.
A-L-A-C-H. Shalak. He's asking not to let go, but I need you to not send away. I need you to send me away forcefully. Send me away. Send me away from you. That's what I want. So you can see if I put Yishlach, see, Yishlach, it's right there. So the Yishlach here is, I'm telling you that I want you to Shalakani. I want you to send me away, not let me go. Go is bo, okay, which is this. That's this, bo. It's not bo. It's Shalakani. Shalakani means to send away. And that means send away forcefully. To send somebody on a very simple way would be to send, just to send. But to send away is forceful. And that's what he's asking him to do. Send me away. Okay. So they translate it as let me go. But the way that our minds work, we would think, well, just let him go. And he's not asking that. He's asking him to send him away. For Ki, the Allah, the day is the Hashakar, the day is coming to daybreak. And he said, this is what our father said. Our father said, lo. And what does lo mean?
Never.
No, no.
Absolutely never will I send you away, not let you go. I will not send you away, except if conditional. That's conditional. If is conditional, and the word that they're using for if and conditional is im. Right there, you can see it. Don't forget it. This is a very important word. Okay? Very important. You see that? He says, I'm never gonna, absolutely never, not just to a certain time, I'm never gonna send you away. Listen. This is what our father said to him. He says, Ki'im, what do I want from you? What if you what? Conditional, if you what? If you what? What do I want you to do to me?
Bless me.
I want you to baraktani. Okay? The ashalakaka, the ki'im, the baraktani. Okay? So our father was very, very smart. And he said, I'm not going to send you away, never going to send you away. I don't care if the sun is about to pop out. I don't care, because this is what I'm after. I'm after the Ki'im Baraktani. Okay. The knee right here is me. Okay. Second person. Okay. Excuse me. First person. He says me. I want you to Barak. Okay. So the Barak is the bless, and the Ta is you, and the knee is me. You bless me. Okay. And what he's asking for is a what? We know blessing has to do with not, this is not a happiness thing. This is something that says, I want you to show me consideration. I want you to have respect unto me. I want you to look down upon me. I want you to bend down and bend the knee, not to worship me, but as a little, like if you're an adult and you go to a little kid who's like 2 years old, what do you got to do in order to give them something? What do? You want to give them a little gift. What do? Do you tell them to jump up and grab it from your hands? What do?
You reach down and give it to
You
him.
reach down, and you have to bend your knee to reach down to show that, hey, I'm showing respect unto you. So this is what our Father was after. He was after consideration from, and he knew something. And the reason why he knew this is because he's like, look, I've already seen visions of the Malachim. I've already saw that in the ladder. That's why I named the place Badel. I already saw that. And I also saw 2 camps. A Makanayim. I saw the camp of Yahweh. So I knew that this individual must have been from what? From Yahweh's camp. You understand? And he said, listen, he said to him, this is what the man said. He says, why you meant to Allah? He said, Ma Shemeka. What is your what? What is your name? Okay. If you're asking for a blessing, this is what I'm asking. So why is he asking about his name? Ma Shemeka. What is your name? Why is he inquiring about his name? Because Ma means unknown. You see? Ma is unknown. Okay. So he doesn't know his name. And he tells him, well, what is your name? Because it's unknown to him, to the man. Listen carefully. And guess what he said? What did our Father say? Our Father said, he said, why Omer, meaning he said, after he asked him that, Yaakov, right? And he says, lo. So the lo of not letting go, never, is the lo that's connected to his name, Yaakov. Lo means never, absolutely never, okay? It will be called, not you or he will be called any longer the Shemkad Ki by this name. Now listen, I got to stop right here and pause to let you know when he asked him his name, what he was really looking for. What does name mean?
Character.
It's your character. He wanted to know what his character was. Because your name is your character. And he told him what his character was. His character means to heal. His character means an after, like an afterthought. Because you say something and you put a comma, that's because. Then you begin the conversation because. He's an afterthought. Okay, he comes after. He's not the first place, he's the second. See? So now what the man is asking is about what is his character. And what he's looking for is to have his character changed. It's not just his name, it's his character needs to be changed. Because once your character's changed, you become what your name is. Now, the scary part that I'm about to share with us here is that a lot of us think, well, he just changed his name. Right? I told you to remember a word, and it was an aleph and it was a mem. And that word im here is what you're going to find. It means if, and they use it in several different ways. And it's conditional. So listen to what this man said to him. He said in verse number 28, lo, okay, lo Yaakov, ye amer. That ye right there is it, third person, it shall be said any longer. You're not going to be called this any longer. From who? It's not going to be your character any longer. Look. This key right here means for or because. They use it all the time for those conjunctions, okay? I'm surprised that they didn't put anything right here because they don't probably want you to know what this really means. What this means, everyone, is this. There is a condition on the name, okay? They got the word but right here, right? They got but. What does it say right here? What does it say right here? If, okay? So let's click on it to verify if im means but or if it means if. What does that say? If. Okay? So this is what happens when you get into the language. You will find out that it's not but. It's not but. So if you read this properly, he said, lo eshalakaka, I'm not going to send you away. Ki, listen, the ki'im baraktani. Okay, we got a ki'im right here, right? Remember, ki'im right here. Kaf and a yod, an aleph and a mem. And then it tells you the baraktani. That's what I want you to do, okay? And a PL. Not a very simple way, in a very forceful way. It's right here, a PL. I want this really hard. I want it bad. I want you to give it to me. And I want it to stay. Now look at the ki'im here. The man tells him, lo, never shall be Yaakov. It will be called any longer. Again, okay? For Shemekah, talking about your character. Ki'im. Ki'im. Yisrael. So up top, you got Ki'im. Baraktani. Remember? Baraktani means blessing of me. You bless me. It was a ki'im there. So the man turns around and he calls a ki'im down here. See, so the ki'im, that's Yisrael, is directly connected with the ki'im of the blessing. You see that? Here it is. I want you to see this because I'm about to share something with you. So the ki'im here is in context, is right along with the ki'im that's down there. Remember, he said, lo, I will not send you away, a ki'im baraktani. That was what Yaakov said. The man turns around and he says this to him. The man says, lo, lo Yaakov, the Yeamer old, the Shemka, ki'im Yisrael. So the ki'im here is conditional, like the blessing. So Yaakov is saying, I'm never going to send you away. So the man says, you're never going to be called Yaakov again. If conditional, if you become Yisrael. It's if you're Yisrael. Ki'im baraktani. I'm not going to let you go if you bless me. If you bless me, I'll let you go if you bless me. Your name will no longer be called Yaakov anymore, the Ki'im Yisrael. If it's Yisrael, meaning if you qualify. That's what he's telling us. This is the reason why Yah is always mentioning both names. He'll mention Yaakov, the household of Yaakov, and he'll mention Yisrael. He'll mention it. Yaakov, okay, is the human element. He's the man. Okay? The one who is Yisrael is the one who is the son of Elohim. Remember, he said, let my son go, Yisrael. He never mentions Yaakov. He mentions Yisrael is my son. Meaning that he's born from me. He is the one who has become Yisrael. And is contingent upon an if. And why? Ki, meaning because or for. Sarita, you have not struggled. This is incorrect. It's not because of your struggle with Elohim. We've been reading this wrong. It's not struggle. It's not, he has not struggled with Yah. Listen to me carefully. Our father did not struggle with Yah. Sarita doesn't mean to struggle. Sarita means to be persistent. That means to exert oneself in the face of adversity. The one who perseveres in the time of difficulty. I said, well, I was going to save it for Shabbat. Yah says, no. You tell my people what it is right now. You tell them that your father, he persevered. He continued in the course of action, even in the face of difficulty, with little or no prospect of success. He went to his wit's end with Yah. You see? That's what he did. He exerted himself. He went all the way with Yah. Persistent. What does it mean? He was firmly and obstinately in the opinion, of course, in action, in spite of. In spite of his difficulty, in spite of his opposition, in spite of his failures, he was still persistent with Yah. You understand? Put your device on mute. This is what it's about. You guys hear what I'm saying to you? This is what he wanted to share with us. That he was persistent. He didn't struggle with me. Like they told you that he was fighting with me. No. No, he wasn't fighting against me. Every time your father had a problem, he would come to me. He was praying to me. That's what he was. And you can see his mother's name, Sarai, even in his name. He was persistent. He exerted himself towards me. This is the reason why that qualifies him for the blessing. That qualifies him for his name to be changed to Yisrael. The Sar that's in his name, everybody, listen to me carefully. The name is Yisrael. The Sar, which is this part right here, the Shin and the Resh right here. That right there tells you that he is persistent with El. And he's persistent enough to turn heads. He's qualified to do this. He's proven himself. in spite of his difficulties. He's always called on me. He's never struggled with me. I'm not his struggle. It's an im here means with. No, his struggle was not with me. He was persistent with me. The key sarati, okay, saritha, excuse me, im Elohim, and wa'im, and with anashe, he's what? What to call? He has ability now. It says prevail, which is true, which it has to do with ability. It's only when you and I are persistent that you and I would be given the ability to become Yisrael. When we prevail over men, we're not prevailing over Elohim, we prevail over men. We're persistent with Yah. You understand? In the face of difficulty, we don't give up on Yah. That's why this man was holding on to this man. That's why Yaakov was holding on to him and he wouldn't let him go. He wouldn't send him away. He's not interested in sending him away because he understood that the man possessed something that he wanted. And you and I should be the same type of people that our father was, the same type of character. In spite of our difficulties, in spite of our challenges, in spite of our disappointments, in spite of what we go through, you and I need to hold on. And we need not to send Yahweh away. Our father had asked a question after he received this baraktani. He said, tell me, Hagida, tell me, make it known to me now, the Shimka. I want to know who you are. Why your man, the man said, Lamaze, why do you want to tishola lishmi? Why are you asking me about for my name? And in Sham, and he blessed him there. And Yaakov called on the shame, the Hamakom, the Peniel. If you notice, what has our father been doing? Every time he has an experience, he turns around and he names some place as a marker. The name of this place, the Hamakom here, is called Peniel. He named the place he had his experience with Yahweh, it's Bethel. He named the place that he saw the Malakim, Makanayim. He names the places. When he travels, he names the places. Why? Again, our word key. It says key. Ra'iti, I have seen Elohim panim el panim. Face to face, faces to faces. Akoti, Kandra, are you online tonight? I thought I saw you.
Yes.
Can you share with the class what panim panim means? I saw your video. Tell us what it is.
Presence to presence or mouth to mouth.
Elaborate like you did in your video.
It doesn't mean that you're seeing the creator's actual face. You're just in his presence, like presence to presence or mouth to mouth.
Yes, praise be to the living Elohim. I have a few moments and I want to share with you where the creator himself, he tells us that he did not, no one will ever be able to see his face, okay? And it's in Exodus chapter number 33, verse 11. There's other places as well, okay? Is it 33? Yeah, the whole chapter says something, but he says that, again, this phrase of face to face is mentioned, okay? And he tells us that Moshe was asking him, hey, he said, look, was it 11? Yeah. He says Yahweh would speak to Moshe face to face, panim to panim, same words that are used there, as a man speaks to his friend, okay? So you and I are not in front of each other's faces right now. I'm talking and you're listening to me. You can have a conversation. You don't necessarily have to see me, okay? So the kind of conversation that Moshe had with the Most High was one that was different, and it's actually different than, it was better than the one that Yaakov, our father, had. Okay, because Yahweh would speak to Moshe face to face. Yaakov said that he saw Yahweh face to face. All he saw was a representative that Yah had sent on his behalf, like he saw the Malachim. Then he would return to the camp. Now you can see our word camp again, right? And to the camp with the young men, who was his assistant, Yehoshua, the son of Nun. He never left inside. And listen what Moshe said. Moshe said to Yahweh, look, you say to me, make these people move on, but you haven't let me know whom you will be sending with me. Nevertheless, you said, I know you by name. See, so this is Yah's way that he gets to people. I know you by name. This is what Yah told him. I know you by your Shimka. I know your character. And also you have found what? Cain in my sight, which goes to our Torah portion. I'm not going to save it. I'm going to tell you about it. Because it's big, it's huge. Cain, or Khan, like Canaan. He said, I have found Canaan in your sight. I found favor and grace in your sight. Okay, he says, but now if I really found this Canaan in your eyes, show me your ways so that I might understand you and continue finding Canaan in your sight, in your eyes. Moreover, keep on seeing this nation as your people. He answered, set your mind at what? At rest, like a camp. Remember, I'm leading my sheep, my presence. Oh, you better hear what she just said. Akulti just told us, he said it's in my presence. My presence will go with you after all. Because Yah was deciding whether or not he was going to continue the journey. So Moshe replied, if your presence doesn't go with us, don't make us go on from here. For how else is it to be known that I have found Canaan, and have I found this favor in your sight, I and your people, other than you going with us? That's when you and I are going to receive this favor, this beauty, this camp, this compassion, is when Yah is going with us. That's why he's always saying, then you'll know that I'm Yahweh. This is what distinguishes us, me and your people, from all other peoples on the earth. You and I cannot be distinguished from anybody else unless you and I have this Canaan, this favor, this from Yahweh. It's the matzah, if you find it. Yahweh said to Moshe, I will also do what you have asked me to do because you found favor in my sight. You found Cain, and I know you by Shibka. I know you by your name. Did he say this to our father Yaakov? Did he say this? No. Our fathers had never had this type of encounter with the Most High like Moshe. He replied, I will cause all my goodness to pass before you, and in your presence I will pronounce the Shimka of Yahweh. However, I will show Canaan to whomever I will, and I will display mercy to whomever I will. But listen what he says. But my face, my panim, the panai, he continued. I'm going to go to Hebrew because I don't want to do English. English is not going to do us any justice here. It's the last verse in Exodus, isn't it? Exodus 33. Watch this so we can get it clear, so we can shut the door on this one. If you look at what he said about seeing his face, listen to this. Listen what he says. I will put it. Okay, let me see. Here you go. Verse number 20. Yah speaking. And Wayomer, and he said, okay, lo. What does lo mean?
Absolutely never.
Absolutely never. To call, are you able? Remember, we just found out that he told our father that he said, now that you are able now, that the to call is the same word that's being used right here. To call, that you don't have the ability. You will never have the ability. See, they got there, because they don't want you to see this. But I'm going to reveal it to you because you and I know the language. Lo thu call. What does it say? You're not able. This man that he's having a conversation with, you are never will be able to what? To liroth the etapanai. You will never be able to see my face. Never. It's not cannot you. No, you will never, you will never have the ability to see me. My face. For kilo, what? Lo yirani. No, ever will anyone see me, Adam, and live. You'll never see him and live. So when our father is talking about he had an experience, and the man, he said, I saw him face to face and called it Penuel, just like a Bethel, he had a vision of him. Hey, he's letting us know. Yah just told us straight up, no one's ever going to see me, because no man can ever see me. They don't have the ability to see me and live, because they'll never be able to. But what I will do for you is Wayomer Yahweh. He said, Hine. Here it is. Here's the place. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you right now where this makom is. This place, the iti, with me. You shall stand upon this Hatzur and Wahaya, and I'm going to go pass by you and my kavodo or kavodi. I'm going to show you my glory. It's going to pass by you. Okay. And it was samtika, and I will put you inside of a cleft of rock, and I will cover you. Right? With my hand and leka until I pass by. Avari. Once I pass by, and I will then take away the copy. I will take my copy away, and then you will ra'ita the akara. I'll be able to let you see the back part. But my face, the ufanai, lo, never. You will never, yoreu, you will never see it. Never. Okay? This is the reason why those who are into idolatry want to be able to see the Creator. That's why they want to make him God. Okay? They want to make him God so they can see him face to face. They need an image of a man that we have found in Deuteronomy chapter number 4 that he says, don't you ever make an image. And a matter of fact, don't let me downplay it. Lo, never, lo, ever. Don't you ever make anything to say that it's me. Don't you ever minimize me. Ever. Okay? Hope you guys enjoyed your study tonight. I don't know what we're going to talk about on Shabbat, but praise be to the living Elohim. Any remarks, contributions? If not, I want you guys to make sure you go check out Torah Talk for Akoti Kendra. She has one called Torah Talk on YouTube. I like her clips because they're not long like mine. They're very short and they do the job. So check her channel out. Hallelujah. Laila Tov, everyone.
Laila Tov.
Laila Tov.
Laila Tov.
Laila Tov.